Should we live our lives following the crowd, or should we pave our own way? What if the crowd is jumping off a cliff and they don't even know it? Even outside the circus, the ringmaster's voice rang in Zephyr's mind, sharp, demanding, relentless. He had been taught to obey, to fear, to survive. Yet deep inside something stirred, a spark of curiosity, a whisper of another way to live. Though he was still under control, his mind began to question, is there more to life than fear and obedience? The world around him was messy, chaotic, and alive. Mud splashed between his paws, ripples forming across the water, reflections of a world he barely understood. Every small movement reminded him that life was not just about survival, perhaps it could be about understanding. Curiosity guided him. He explored, investigated, sought knowledge. A simple red refrigerator outside an old building became a doorway to discovery, a symbol of the life he was beginning to imagine. He studied the ways of humans, their kindness, their cruelty, their choices. Every page challenged him to think beyond instinct, to consider what it truly meant to live without harm. And slowly, he began to learn. Compassion was a choice. Peace could exist where there was patience. Life could be shared rather than taken. Even a tiger could dream of kindness. The world judged him harshly. Society demanded that he remain what he was, feared, controlled, predictable. The gavel of judgment struck down not just his body, but his mind, reminding him of rules he didn't want to follow. But Zephyr refused to be bound by expectation. He stepped forward, one deliberate paw after another, leaving behind the cages of fear and judgment, determined to think for himself. He stood among those who had once sought to control him, yet he did not run, did not yield. His silence, his presence, was a testament to the strength of quiet courage, of choosing to rise above fear. He explored new ways of being, daring to live beyond instinct. The chase was thrilling, but it was not rebellion for its own sake. It was a step toward understanding freedom and choice. And then, higher than he had ever imagined, he soared, side by side with an eagle, wind rushing past. Zephyr felt what it was to rise above fear, above expectation, above the world's narrow definitions of him. He sought guidance from those who had chosen wisdom over instinct, compassion over cruelty. Their words were gentle, their presence calming, teaching him that kindness could be a strength, not a weakness. He reflected on what it truly meant to be alive, to be moral, to make choices that lifted others rather than preyed upon them. In the stillness of the lake, he began to see himself not just as a tiger, but as a being capable of great understanding. Some follow the crowd blindly. When everyone leaps without thought, it can seem safe to join them. But Zephyr had learned to pause, to think, to decide for himself. Even if the herd jumped, he would not. He dreamed of a world where the fierce could rest beside the gentle, a world where instincts were tempered by choice, and courage meant protecting, not preying. Harmony was possible, he realized. Strength could be gentle, power could be kind, and even the most unlikely companions could coexist in peace. And so Zephyr chose a life few believed possible. By thinking, by reflecting, by choosing kindness, he stepped into a new world, a world of calm, of courage, of hope. A tiger who dared to dream of being more than fear. A tiger who became an example of what it truly meant to be alive